Great. You're in charge of senior coach,
All right, guys, we're gonna go streaming my stuff on YouTube. We're gonna keep doing that just in case for the rest of the semester, however this thing kind of looks. So the first thing I'm gonna do today is give you guys some updates on what's going on with senior finance. I'm gonna give you guys a quiz, and then we're gonna talk about some Dave Ramsey stuff. So it's been gonna be kind of a wild day today. Yeah, I'm serious. So there's this competition teachers have for who's going to be the worst teacher of the year, and I want to win. So I was thinking, you know what? Let's give them a quiz that they are totally not prepared for. So on Schoology, you guys are going to find this thing that says Financial Lit Quiz. Don't open your stuff up yet. I'll get to it. So Financial Lit Quiz, if you click on it, it opens up within Schoology. Now, I've already found out this week that it'll work if you open it up in Schoology, but there's been some funny stuff kind of happening, like some answers are missing and things like that. So what I would recommend is opening up in a separate browser. Just click on that box. It's a financial literacy pre-quiz. So this will probably only take you like 5 minutes to finish. It's not going to be very long. But the purpose of this is actually you're helping out another senior with a DECA project. So they're doing a financial literacy project, and that is basically to test you to see what you know about financial literacy, give you some information, then test you again, and see how much you grew from test 1 to test 2. This is test 1. Now, this has absolutely no impact on your grade whatsoever. So this is just 5 minutes of something that you can just choose to do. It's an elective quiz if you want to. Here's the interesting thing about it. If you score above an 80% on the second financial literacy quiz, you'll be put into a raffle to receive a free pair of Apple AirPods. So Julia Crean's giving away a pair of AirPods to somebody who gets an 80% or higher on the second quiz. Not today's, but the second one, because they got to get your baseline today. Now, I would love it if you guys would take this quiz. Again, you're not required to, but you could actually get a pair of AirPods out of this, and even if you already have a pair, who doesn't want a second pair? So, could kind of work out. So go ahead and go to Schoology now and get yourselves kind of prepped for this. Guys, if you're going to take this quiz, what I would suggest is please just try to take it the best you can. Obviously, you're not going to know some stuff on there. That's kind of the point. But also, I would request that you don't intentionally torpedo it. So don't just go through and just mark everything wrong because you think it's funny. Because you're going to throw off Julia's data just a little bit. Like I said, there's 3 girls that are working on a financial literacy project, so we're trying to help them all. Julia, Kate, and Maria.
You're allowed to have a project?
Huh?
You're allowed to have 3 people on
the project? Yeah. That project, yours, no. I got changed last year.
I mean, you want depends on where you live. Yeah. California. Especially if you're in the I guess you're
Okay, now as soon as you guys are done, please just put your laptop down once you finish so I know that everybody is complete and ready to go.
on marker. Yeah.
Now, if you guys get too tripped up on some of this stuff, don't worry about it, because remember, you haven't really been educated on it yet. That comes next week.
Just don't. John's actually. I got 18. Dang it, Walter. 21.
Read on the outside. All right, everybody. I am actually I'm going to get started with the stuff that we need to go over. So if you just need to clean up the quiz, go ahead, and once you're done, put your laptop down. So here are the updates as far as senior finance for the rest of the semester, and also as best I can give you for the rest of the year. So we are here today, and we have a day next week, and that's it for the semester. Now, this class, remember, it's supposed to be like every other day during a regular year. So really, this class is technically at mid-quarter, since we're only halfway through it. The thing that's going to get kind of weird, though, is this group that's in here right now, you guys are going to get kind of redistributed through a bunch of different hours. So when second semester starts, you're still going to have senior finance, but you might have it 6th hour with a bunch of different people. So everybody's in the exact same spot. It's just going to be kind of a weird transition. So everybody's, like I said, still in the same place. As far as the rest of this semester, I'm not adding anything else to the grade book that's not already in there. So that Good Life presentation, I haven't graded it yet, hoping to get to that on Friday. VBC 9 and VBC 10. 9 was assigned before we left for break, and 10 is assigned this week. Other than that, nothing else is going in the grade book. So if you have, your budget project in and everything else is in up through VBC 10, you're in great shape. That's exactly where you should be. Now, when next semester starts, this is where it's going to get kind of weird. So if the school schedule does not change and we stay on this model for the rest of the year, I think we have like 21 classes together, including today. So that's not a lot. There's a lot of stuff I got to get to, obviously. But if we in February decide to go back full go 5 days a week, I might see you guys like 45 more times. So I'm not entirely sure as to how much, what this is going to look like as far as a workload on you guys. And just so you're aware, for the most part for seniors, I want to land this thing kind of like early May and be done with class and just have the last like 3 weeks just to be able to catch up on stuff or, have discussions and things like that. I'm not going to be real assignment heavy once we get into May. So just so you guys are aware of that. What that means, though, is that you're going to have to keep up to date on your virtual business stuff because we're going to go through like 19 lessons of it. So we're on 10 right now. And at the end of it, then there's a big 100 point. You have to do like every single thing in it, and it probably will take you about 4 hours to complete. We got to do that by the end of the year. So again, staying current on your virtual business stuff is probably like the top priority in here. As far as the rest of the year, though, believe it or not, I'm actually going to get away from the boring stuff. Like I love talking about credit. I think it's important, but credit and savings are not really like the fun parts of this class. Like the investing and doing stuff like that is actually the fun stuff. So we're actually heading into the fun parts. Like I said, we're going to do this personal financial literacy quiz a little bit next time we have class, and then we'll start kind of fresh once the new semester starts with investing and stuff like that. But I want to take you guys back to Dave Ramsey. So Dave, way back when I used to show this to the seniors and whenever I had finance class, kind of at the beginning of class, and we'd watch it first and then we kind of go through all the stuff in class. I think this is a lot more beneficial to watch this in segments as we go through the class because I think it makes a lot more sense. Now, the reason I have you guys watching Dave in the first place is because he's got these 7 baby steps for getting out of debt and securing your financial future. I think it's important for you guys to watch because you guys technically aren't in debt yet. And so this is going to be good ideas for first you staying out of debt, and if you happen to get into debt, how you can get out of it. Now, we started this like back in September. Does anybody remember what baby step number 1 was? Start an emergency fund with how much money?
$1,000.
$1,000. Very good. So $1,000 in an emergency fund. Some money that it's easy to access, but not too easy that you don't waste it. Evan, do you remember what step number 2 is? It is the snowball thing. Pay off all your debt using the debt snowball, which you'll notice it's conveniently on the board over there too. So yes, it's the debt snowball thing. So this is the last thing I talked about when we had class before we went on Christmas break. I would totally understand if people weren't really paying all that much attention. So I'm just going to give a quick kind of review of that. The debt snowball is a method of paying off your debts that is helpful and keeps you kind of focused on what you're doing. What I mean by that is, as far as the debts that you can pay off, you can't pay off your cell phone bills. There's never going to be a day where you're down to zero on your cell phone bill. Like your cable bill or Netflix. It's not like, woo, paid off my Netflix bill. I don't have to pay anything for Netflix anymore. That doesn't happen. So we're looking at the stuff that you've kind of taken loans out or that can get down to zero. Your house payment, your car payment, student loan payments, credit card payments. Like those are things that one day you can get down to zero and have no payments. So those are the things we're kind of focusing on. And actually, I kind of thought about this yesterday, so I didn't do this with the other classes. I'll start with you guys, but going back and looking at the budget. So for the senior finance budget, we have all of our stuff broken down in here, and I made this a little bit easier on mine. So just saying loans. And you really not going to let me zoom in? Come on. It'd be like that. Okay, so rent for my person was $929. Their car payments were $480. School loans, $200. Credit card payment, $125. So this fictional person was paying $1,734 a month. Yeah, pretty basic. I think a lot of you guys were probably in this boat or similar to it. What the debt snowball is, it's taking a look at the lowest thing on here and paying that off first. So you're used to living off of $1,734, in bills, right? Well, once you pay off that $125, instead of, why is my number different? And something's different up here. Wait a second. There we go. So what the debt snowball is focusing on the lowest payment that you have and taking that thing out of the equation. So 125, you've paid that off down to zero. But instead of living now at $1,600, what they're suggesting is you actually take that 125 and add it into this one. So you're going to pretend like you still have this bill, but you don't. You're actually putting it into this one. So for your student loan, you're going to pay $325 instead of $200. It's going to pay off your student loan a lot faster because you're paying more money on it each month. Then once this one is done, you take this $325. Once that's paid off, you go up to this one and start putting that money into this. Notice this bottom line doesn't change. You're not living any differently than you were the month before. Everything is the same but for your bills, but you're focusing your money on what you're paying out of these things. So instead of paying, what was it, $480 on your car payments, you're paying $805 in your car payments. They're going to go away twice as fast. So once that's done, and you have $805, you can put it towards this. That 805. So same thing, you're still paying about $1,734, but instead of making $929 payments on your house, you're paying this much. You freed up that much money to be able to focus on a lot of your other bills. That's what the debt snowball is. And again, you haven't changed anything. It's not any kind of a mathematical formula as far as how to pay more stuff or doing like that. And it really doesn't change your lifestyle. You are already paying that much each month. But if you do it this way, you can get rid of those bills a lot faster. Now, the other thing that's kind of fun about this, and let's go back to this page, because let's say that you've actually pulled it off and you've paid off your car payment. So hang on. First of all, my expenses were $4,533 a month. But let's say I pay off my car payment and I pay off my school loans and I pay off my credit card payments. Now my expenses are down to $3,700. Really dropped how much my expenses are. It's going to free up so much more cash for you during that month that you're going to be able to do some more stuff with it. This is how you can get some cash, and that's kind of where we pick up Dave Ramsey on his third baby step. So I'm going to let him talk for a little bit eventually.
You got to get to that point.
There we go.
They were out there gazelling around.
Okay, this also helps if I kind of explain a little bit before too. So he's talking about this analogy of gazelles and cheetahs chasing after gazelles. Basically, you guys are the gazelles, kind of like victims in this whole thing. And cheetahs are like credit card companies and banks and things like that. And I think it's a good analogy because you guys just need to be aware of what banks and credit cards or companies are really after. They're after your money. They're there to make money. That is their purpose. It's not to help you build a better life or do things like that. It's about making money. If those other things happen, they're fine with that. But that's kind of the deal. And I don't want you guys to be afraid of credit card companies. I just want you to know what the deal is with them, that what their purpose is. They're trying to make money off of you. So that's kind of the analogy he's making here.
And I went, dude, I just read about you. See, get out of debt, deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. And I sat there for just a moment because you know the Discovery Channel is not there if just the gazelles are there. You know somebody else is there. The hunter is there. He's there. He's got a plan. He's the fastest mammal on dry land. And the gazelles have a cheetah detector behind their ear. They go, oh, cheetah! Run!
This is the best thing to have second out, right?
Because the cheetah is faster than they are. He can go from 0 to 47 miles an hour in 4 leaps. This is the fastest mammal on dry land. He's looking to eat you. This is how you get out of debt. You deliver yourself like the gazelle from the hand of the hunter. You run like your life depends on it. Go! Because you see what he'll do? He picks out the college student, didn't he? Hey, come here. Hey, you want a free hat? Hey, I got a t-shirt over here. Hey, you need to build up your FICO score. Hey, come here, kid. Come here. No, the way you get out of debt, baby, is you got to run. You got to go. You can't let up. This guy's after you. He's going to take you down. You got to run. You got to get gazelle intense. The people that get out of debt, you can wander in. You can't wander out. You gotta get, this is a deal, man. It's gotta happen. This is how you get out. You deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. You deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. I'm not gonna do it for you. You're the one's gotta run. You know how long we had to look for a clip where they got away? But I will tell you this, the fun thing about this funny little example up here that you'll never forget the rest of your life. It's one of the most powerful moments in the whole day. Now, I don't know how long you got to run. I don't know how fast you got to run, but you got to run. You cannot let up. You got to bust it. If you want to be somebody in the area of money, you want to get this stuff off of you, you want to shed these chains, it is not a game. You got to bust up into it in an unbelievable, passionate way. You got to have a level of focus, a level of intensity that you may have never had in your life. And when you do, you will win. You will be free. Because I've watched hundreds of thousands of North Americans do this exact thing. Because of the Total Money Makeover, because of the Dave Ramsey Show, because of Financial Peace University. No. Because we made them believe they could. And they ran. That's what happened. Deliver yourself. That's how this works. But I promise you, it works, baby. If you keep doing it, you get to chase the cheetah. So now, we don't have any payments but a house payment. We're at baby step 2. We're 18 to 24 months in. Does that feel pretty good? Say yes.
Okay, so he's gonna quickly go through some stuff here, and I'm gonna pause it after he starts because he kind of gets on a roll here and throws out a whole bunch of stuff.
Now, our next goal is we're totally with Gazelle Intensity going to continue to focus. With focused intensity, we're going to build up that $1,000 account until it reaches a fully funded emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of expenses. Emergency funds should be easy to access or liquid. Put them in a money market type account with your mutual fund company. Check writing privileges. It's not going to earn much interest.
Okay, so he says, take that initial $1,000 that you've been saving up, and now you're going to start contributing to it. Because if you did the debt snowball thing, you've got extra money each month, and you could start doing this. So why 3 to 6 months? Why do you pick that? Exactly. So if you should experience a sudden job loss, 3 to 6 months of expenses should cover you, so you don't really have to make any drastic life changes in order to bridge yourself to the next job you get. So COVID hits, if you wait tables and you break your leg, this gives you the ability to kind of rest, recuperate without having to worry about your bills. So for my person that was in here, how much was I spending each month after I paid off my bills? It was down to like $3,000, something like that. It's about $4,000 actually. So if I saved up 5 months worth of $4,000, that's $20,000 that I would have to save up. But I could then, experience a job loss or something else, and nothing would have to change. And this is one of the things that really gets people. If they don't have the savings in place for this, and they lose their job, and it's like, well, my kid's got to go to dance lessons, and I've got to do this thing. Like, that's when they start using their credit card because they don't have savings to fall back on. And that's what gets you into debt. You start taking out loans and you start using credit cards to be able to pay for that stuff because of this, sudden job loss that happened to you. So if you have this thing built up, then you got a little bit of cushion. Now, the other thing he mentioned was liquidity. Liquidity is the financial term for basically how easy is it for you to access your money. So if you have $100 cash in your pocket, that's as liquid as it gets. Like, that is the most liquid you can get with your money. If you have your money in a checking account, that's like the next step over. It's really, really liquid. Most places take debit cards, or you could go to a cash machine. It's really, really easy to access. As you move further up the chain, though, savings accounts, a little harder to get. And there's some other accounts you can get at the bank, like a money market account, that you can put your money into it. It still keeps your money safe, but it's not as easy to get. It's less liquid than having cash. What he's talking about, though, of having stuff that's not liquid is like putting your money into a 401k or buying stock with it. I sold stock about 10 years ago, and it took me almost 30 days to actually get the money. Like, it took that long. Now, with the internet and online trading and stuff like that and PayPal, it happens a lot faster, but it still takes more time. Plus, if you start cashing out 401ks and stock trades, there's penalties, taxes, there's all sorts of stuff associated with that. So you really don't want to mess with that stuff. You want to keep your money as liquid as you can. So that's why he's saying, build up that $20,000, put it into like a money market account or a savings account. It's not going to earn any interest. Now, also what he's going to talk about here in just a second is how people like me would have a real problem with that. I would look at that as like, that's $20,000 that is not making me any money. That's not cool. I cannot abide by that. So I would have a problem with that. That having $20,000, it's basically just sitting in a savings account, not doing anything. But he's going to explain why you should do that anyway.
And I want you to put 3 to 6 months of expenses. Some of you, that'll be $10,000, $15,000, even $20,000 just sitting there, boring, but ready for life to happen. Everybody's bored but her, yeah. It is boring, though. See, here's the deal. Your emergency fund, the problem we get is we get mixed up about it. It is not an investment. Say, not an investment. Your emergency fund is insurance. Say insurance. Here's the difference. Investments are money that make you money. Insurance costs you money to protect your money that is making you money.
Okay, so just kind of a visual of what he's talking about right now. Here's what investments are. We're going to get to this in February, March, really starting in a couple of weeks. We're going to start talking about investments. Investments is taking money that you have and putting it somewhere. So I'm going to take my money and I'm going to put it back here, and then you walk away from it. And the idea is when you come back at a later time, that money is going to grow. Now, how much it's going to grow depends on what you invest in, how long you stay away. I mean, a whole bunch of different factors. But I mean, you can almost think of it like planting a seed or something else. Like you plant it, and then you're going to wait, and you're just going to sit back. You're not going to touch it. You're going to leave it alone, and it's going to grow. And that's what the point of an investment is. The point of what he's talking about, though, with insurance or this mutual fund or the savings account, it's kind of like putting a money barrier around this. So let's just say, for example, though, my car absolutely dies. I don't have any money in savings. I got $1,500 that's over there in a retirement account. Like, well, I can't get to work unless I have my car. Like, I have no options here. And I don't really want to put it all on a credit card because that's terrible. So I'm going to cash out my my IRA and take that. Well, I'm going to get hit with fees, penalties, all sorts of stuff. And that's not going to be good. Plus, it's going to ruin my investment. But what he's talking about with the savings account is if you have kind of a money barrier around this thing, when stuff happens, you know, you lose your job, you can use the money that's protecting your investment. Your car breaks down, well, I'll just take it out of my money here. Keep the investment safe. You're putting a money barrier around it when you have the savings account. This was something that I had never done until fairly recently. So we're building up our savings account right now, and that's the stuff that protects our investments. Once you make an investment, you don't want to touch it. You want to leave it alone. You could contribute money to it, but other than that, don't take any money out. Sometimes it's best not to even look and see how it's doing unless you check in a couple times a year. As an example, we had my kids are like complete minimalists. They don't want anything. It's kind of ridiculous. They don't want clothes, toys, any of that other stuff. So they pretty much just live on straight video games. That's it. So my dad has been giving them like $100 for their birthday for years, and they never spend it because they never want anything. So we always buy them whatever they want because they never really want anything. So we have these $100 bills that are just piling up at our house. And so I'm like, you know what? We're going to invest that money. So it was about $1,000 of birthday money from my dad that he had given both my kids. And I invested it in a 2065 retirement account for Ben, who's 15, and AJ, who's 10. So it's an account for both of them. It's a retirement account for the year 2065. So Ben will be, he'll be 60 years old, and AJ will be 55. So they'll be about retirement age. So that $1,000 that I put in, if I contribute $25 a month to that, if I just keep putting in $25 into that little seed, they should have about $150,000 by the time they're ready for retirement. And just by taking that $1,000 and putting it there. But the thing is, you know, if I have some kind of accident or lose my job, something else, if I go break that open, they're never going to get that. So you want to do everything you can to protect your investments. That's what that 3 to 6 months of expenses savings account does. It protects you from having to spend any of that money.
You buy insurance to protect your house, to protect your health. You buy insurance to replace your life and the money you make if something happens to you, called life insurance. Insurance is an expense that protects assets. Your emergency fund is not an asset. It technically is in accounting terms, but you don't need to look at it that way. In other words, if it earns a little interest, that's just good. But it's not there to earn interest. It's there to protect your 401k. Because if you have to dip into your 401k because you didn't have an emergency fund and the government takes half of it in penalties and taxes, that's what's known as stupid. Because you didn't have an emergency fund. I never had an emergency fund any time in my life when I was a multimillionaire. When I was a millionaire doing the real estate stuff. I wasn't a multimillionaire. I was a millionaire doing the real estate stuff. I didn't have any money saved. Everything went back into the deal, back into the deal. Everything we spent, everything we consumed. No money, no liquidity, no cash. And that's one of the reasons I went down, because I had no wiggle room. There was no grease in the gears. And that's what this is. It puts a pad between you and Murphy. You know who Murphy is. If it can go wrong, it will. And let me tell you what, you don't have an emergency fund, Murphy will move in your spare bedroom and bring his 3 cousins, broke, desperate, and stupid. And your life will look like a country song. That's what will happen, won't it? That's how this deal happens. So you don't put it in a CD, a certificate of depression. Because if you cash that out early, they charge you a penalty. That's not liquid. That's not easy to access. So a simple money market account with something like your mutual fund company, and you put 3 to 6 months of expenses in there. Money market accounts are easily accessible. Men say things about the emergency fund like it's boring, it's not sophisticated enough. Dave, you want me to take $20,000 and let it sit there and make only 3 or 4%? Dave, I could do a lot better with that. I could do a BBD, a bigger, better deal. I got this game plan. I got this shot. Get this. My wife says I'm scheming and scamming when I do that kind of stuff. And guys are always trying to do this. Very few women do this stuff. See, women, on the other hand, say things like it's the most important key to our financial plan. And here's why. Let me have all the men in the room stand up, please. Let me have all the men stand up, please. Guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but women are different. Guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but right down in here, inside of your lady, there is a security gland. And when she's feeling insecure over the money stuff, she's not feeling good over the money stuff, that gland spasms. And it is attached to her face. Insecurity makes your wife ugly and mean because she gets afraid in a place you don't even have. And she will attack you. And you know that's happened. It happened in my house. That woman about clawed my eyes out, and I had no idea. And then I discovered the security gland. Guys, if you want to make one of the best investments you'll ever make in your life, she's wired by God naturally to be smarter than you on this subject. Her nature takes her to the place to be calm and secure in this area. This emergency fund causes her to relax in a place you don't even have. When you do the investment and the work and the budgeting to participate in the process, and this emergency fund is put in place, she'll relax and she'll look at you through a different set of eyes. This is one of 2 things I'm going to tell you today for those of you that are married or ever want to be married that will revolutionize your marriage, because she will feel completely different at that point. Not because she's weaker, because on money things, a lot of times ladies are actually stronger, but because on this subject, that's how she's wired. And she'll look at you in a different way when that emergency fund's in place. It's an investment in your marriage. Am I right, ladies? I rest my case.
This next part's kind of
An
important.
emergency fund turns a crisis into an inconvenience. If your transmission goes out, it's $2,700 to fix it, and you have $15,000, you go, dadgum, the transmission went out. That's a pain. Transmission goes out and you are broke, you go, oh God, the world's coming to an end. It changes your whole life. The drama starts to leave your life when you have this emergency fund stuff in place.
He's absolutely true about this, and I wish he'd actually spent a little bit more time on it, because it makes a significant difference in your life. I mean, if you take the same person that has, $20,000 in an emergency fund set up, and somebody who's got nothing, and their car breaks down, so just totally shot, they got to get a new one. That's not all that big a deal. It's a pain to that other person, but to that person who needs that car to get to work, to be able to pay their bills and to be able to do everything else, like, that's a huge stressor in their life. That's going to affect their relationship with their significant other, relationship with their friends, relationship with their parents. I mean, that's the kind of things that, and this happened over New Year's, where I went over to a buddy's house and he said that he had to replace his dishwasher for like the 3rd time, and his house is only like 5 years old. And like, we both, have savings accounts, and we just kind of laughed about it. But if he didn't have any money saved up, like, that's a huge crisis. And because we had money saved up, it just it becomes a joke to talk about. So that's a really, really important fact about this is it changes your life if you have money set up. That drama that he's talking about leaves your life. And that's a huge stressor for people. It's like one of the top reasons for divorce. It's, money issues is a huge thing. But if you have that money saved up to be able to handle those expenses, and if you have, 2 cars and a house, you're going to have expenses. I have changed over a hot water heater, dishwasher, toilets. I feel like I've practically built a brand new house of all the stuff I'd had to replace in the houses that I've had. And I've only been living in houses for 20 years. I feel like I've replaced everything at least once, and I've still got 20 more years to go. So that stuff's just going to happen. If you guys remember the unexpected expenses stuff we gave you for the budget project, that's all real stuff that happened to people in this building. Like if you had something that was really, really crappy, like, the foundation of your house was cracked, like, man, that's really awful stuff. But if you have money saved up, it doesn't become all that bad. And it becomes livable. And that just changes like your entire outlook on your life, your relationships with people, and all that other stuff. Okay, that's actually all I got for Dave today. That's all the further I want to get. We are going to get deeper into the finance stuff or the investing stuff once second semester rolls around. That's kind of where we're going to kick things off and get into your money, making money, and some of the fun stuff. I think I finished early today because there was homeroom yesterday. So classes are longer today by a couple minutes. So that's apparently why I finished about 4 minutes early. So, oh well, starting to get my teacher timing back. Anyway, I think I covered everything with you guys. So let's hang out for a few minutes.
I don't, but then my